just
No one's
going to
warn you about anything. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the T.O.A Podcast. I am your host, Onvermel. And here today, I'm greeted by both these dipstick brothers, Zacta and Ek. Yes.
I could be Axe.
We're all
Butaka
dipsticks.
here. Thank you very much.
Nah. However, Axe and Butaka are part of our topic today.
They are very important.
Because, for those who are not in the know, which is why we're having this podcast, is the Titan category. Y'all might be thinking, what's the Titan category, baby boy? And we'll tell you.
It's about 9.5 inches.
Sorry, we all just heard something fall down to the left
ghost
us,
in this
and we all
place.
kind of did the gopher head moving up. You know, the whole
squirrel.
So, no, but back in the day, I don't know, I think it was like about 2000, actually it was 2007, because it was when T.O.A came out.
No, it was the Voyanui era.
But when we actually started measuring everyone's heights, you had Kongu, who was the newest Barnacle at the time. Because we had just gone a couple, like, T.O.A, like he was
It
literally
was
the newest
early
Barnacle.
2007,
But
probably.
What we did was, well, we measured all the Bionicles and put them in different groups. You know, everyone above 9.5 inches were the tiny category. Everyone below 3 inches, basically Winua and the Tonga, the short category. Then there was the Unica category, which was like, I think, 8 inches.
I think it was just being an Anika.
Well, you had to be above 8 but under 9.5.
And then there was like.
However, it was dominated by the Unica. But the point of all this was, I don't know why we were doing that. We were just bored, I think. However, what this led to was a certain, all the Titans being one area, like, well, not all of them. We bent some rules.
We invented some rules.
We invented, broke, and created some rules.
Recreated, re-optimized.
Because originally, you know, obviously not everyone was 9.5, like Kreka wasn't. I think we don't think we had Nocturne quite yet, but I don't think he's technically 9.5.
Makuta, I don't think was.
Well, you were the only Makuta had built at the time, and he had the extended leg.
He was
We changed the
modified.
rules
So he
from
did.
a height to a height or being of a certain value.
I don't know exactly when that change exactly
I
happened.
think it's just so we could accommodate all Titan and Warrior sets because most of them
It
are
was
not
a progressive
9.5 inches
thing.
tall.
As long as, but basically, this is okay, for context, we were about, I don't know, mid-teens on average. Well, I think X we were about mid-teens, mid-lower teens.
2007, yeah, I was right, 15.
So, you know, we're at the age where, you know, we're not playing with toys in the normal sense of, I am Umbra, I will defend against you, T.O.A. No, it's more so, it's more like, sup, guys, I'm gonna get some pop, you guys want some chips, something too, you know, chill at the bar, get some swing chip at the Barbie.
It all started with Ekir and Axon.
Yes, I remember it. How this all started is I had Axon as a fairly recent Bionicle.
Possibly even that day.
No, it was not that. Axon was not brand new. I had a bag of Doritos.
It might have been a bowl of Doritos. Remember, we were.
No, it was definitely a bowl of Doritos.
Yes, a bowl of
It
Doritos.
came from a bag, but it was in a bowl. And there it was, just wandering around, and all of a sudden, I mean Doritos in one hand, Axon in the other. I'm like, this Axon guy, he likes Doritos.
It's probably because his hands could actually physically hold a Dorito, and I bet you put one in his hands.
And he is red, like a Dorito.
It does fit.
Dorito bag, at least.
And so, naturally, Ekir had that. So, I had Butaka, who, well, I love popcorn, so naturally, he likes popcorn. And the gold one with the buttery goodness well.
Yeah, and then I just kind of joined in that bandwagon with my Umbra, which came in a little bit later. But I decided, Umbra, he likes that root beer. And kind of from there, every, like, large, like, essentially, like, Titan Bionicle set was associated with a food. Now, if you were... Well, the ones that were already in the house were assigned a food. Because if you got new ones, well, whatever the first food you were nearby would then become your favorite snack food.
This was especially prevalent with Mazika.
Very, yes. Well,
Mazika.
unless, you know, someone else already had the food. Because I'm pretty sure
If
there
I
were some times
recall-
that we had that were around Doritos first.
If
But however...
But Axon beat that guy
If
up.
I recall correctly, Mazika we assigned sugar.
Yes.
Well,
And I don't think
we'll
it
get to
was-
Mazika's full story a bit later.
Alright, because I don't remember this.
I very much remember it, and
I
I will tell it
remember
later.
it.
Alright.
But to put it in simple terms, the Titan category is games we played with our Titans hanging out in a club,
Eating snacks.
eating snacks.
And that was about it.
Exclusively.
Well, there was a phase where Vezon had everyone get into an exercise routine.
I think that was just part of
It
the
was
whole-
partially because Vezon, when
Looks
you look
fat.
at him, looks like he's a bit of a gut. Like a beer belly.
He does.
So
The
he
armor
started
does.
exercising.
It was like the biggest issue I've had with the set for years is it looked like he had a beer belly. I've gone past it now, but maybe it's because I realized
It's still
I
a
don't
little.
want
It doesn't look like he's got scrawny arms and kind of a fat belly, which really emphasizes that I'm out of shape. So, but no, as we would get Titans, like kind of starting in 2007, like the first food they were around. Because I know when I got my Maxios, because you got Maxios first, but because yours was, but yours was,
the same time.
I got mine for Christmas. You ordered it, and then I got mine for Christmas like the year later. Because when you got your Maxios, he was your Makuta.
Yeah.
And so he liked pizza as Gerard's Pterodax, and Makuta already liked pizza. They just think like different. Well, Makuta's, we'll get to that in a bit later. However, when I got my Maxios, I didn't make him my Makuta. So he just liked the first food he was around, which was a Kit Kat. So he liked Kit Kats. And,
First sugary food, like
snack
I feel like
food.
the whole first
As
food
us being
encounter was
teenagers,
always a bit of
the
a
thing is,
stretch.
when it worked with some. However, the thing is, though, when we're teenagers, we had a lot of snack foods, like, constantly. Like, we were eating a lot of snacks, so it wasn't hard. But, like, all the previous people, like, let's say, New Peru, you already had him with the Boxer, so you just assigned him orange juice.
And I mean, I know
Sorry,
those Titans,
orange pop. Orange Crush Pop.
and I mean,
Yes.
there were Titans we didn't have who we started assigning foods if we ever got them. That would they be like? Because if I correct, Jao and Gaku would become cheese.
Well, how one had it, so it was kind of like, but
and
yeah,
how one was really fond of cheese.
it was very fitting.
Therefore, Jala likes huge chunks of cheddar.
Also, I know there's someone else who did get a food before we got him, but I don't remember who. And you know,
I want to say it was Kuma. for
I mean,
some
other
reason.
people got foods that were just fun for them, like Matanui.
Oh, I think I know who.
Mhm.
Ernak. We decided he was gonna like gumballs.
Well,
before
yes.
I got
Well,
him.
that was just a no-brainer.
You had to give him
anyways.
gumballs.
He was a gumball machine.
Pretty much. But I
Yeah.
know, like, Matanui liked Lifesavers because he had the Mask of Life, so Lifesavers,
And-
come on.
Thok, a Bionicle who, when stretching his neck out, can reach over 9.5 inches, liked water.
No, Thok liked mints, didn't he?
No, he liked
I thought-
water.
No, Strack liked water.
Sorry, Strack. I got those two mixed up. Strack liked water. Thok liked freezies.
I
No,
like
wait. What did Thok like? Cause
Mints.
mints.
Because he liked brushing his teeth.
I don't remember him liking mints.
I think it was
Then
actually
again,
like that.
I
There
don't
was
remember what it
toothpaste specifically. But so there were certain characters weren't as focused on their
And let me
thing.
tell you,
now,
I never had a mint. So
now, because we also had some of the same Titans, such as Sidorak. Now, our younger sister, the seventh T.O.A, her Sidorak, because she did play with us a little bit with this, and her Sidorak specifically loved a lot of ketchup on her ketchup chips, because ketchup chips was Sidorak's food, but hers ketchup with chips on the side.
ketchup chips drenched in ketchup.
Essentially, while I believe your Sidorak just like ketchup chips dipped in ketchup.
Well, I think my Sidorak now was her old Sidorak. Didn't I?
No, you got your own Sidorak. I believe, didn't you get...
So
Someone
I
had
just
two
got
Sidoraks.
her old Sidorak box. That was it.
Yeah, there was stuff. So, but let's be honest. The biggest thing that started out was the 2006 Titans. They are very much the main characters in all essence, which is why I believe, those Brutaka and Axon run the category.
They are the best Titans ever
They are
created.
basically the forerunners of this whole
They
thing. They
are
were
our
eating and
favorite-
snacking and hanging out before there was a Titan category to
And
snack and
they
hang
are
out in.
our personal favorites, so they remain, they're the Woody in Toy Story.
Well, I
They
would
just get favoritism putting them at the top of the
Well, the
list.
Titan category, I would say, was such a distinctive part of our Bionicle gaming life that Brutaka, Axon, Umbra were essentially are like the iconic Titans of our verses.
I don't think I ever had a more serious gameplay with Axon, just because I got him when I was like 14,
I remember
15.
serious gameplay, a couple serious gameplays with the Paraka, but even that was like, by the time the Baraki came around, serious gameplays I don't think really happened in large scale until our weird serious / goofy grandiose games. And I'm sticking with that exact term.
Yeah, but moving back to Mazika, it was at this point we were already at the point where we were running out of because of this was the mythos of the first food you around will be your favorite food, which is why Vikan likes tacos, despite it not being a snack food. It was a big controversy in the Titan category.
Because
Let me
However,
tell ya.
and because he had that happen, I believe, if I remember how it went correctly, Mutron and Vikan, who like to mess around, Mutron and Shirox, who like to really mess around people in this category, because, comic relief, right?
Oh yeah,
Well,
I
I think-
believe they tested on Mazika to see if you put him by a bowl of sugar.
No,
Oh,
that
wait.
was not how it went.
Wait, what was it?
The day before we were playing Titan Garrett, Mazika was brand new. And we were like, well, what food does Mazika like? Because all these foods that were around are taken. And I think the Titans were like, well, what if we try to get him to like a healthy food?
Oh yeah,
So
a
they
vitamin
lit-
pill, wasn't it?
No. We stuck him out overnight by my breakfast. I was
By your
going to
s-
have Cheerios for breakfast.
Right.
But since I put sugar on my Cheerios,
He latched onto the sugar.
latched onto the sugar.
And he basically became the Flash in our verse, where he can move like almost as quick as Umbra.
When he literally will phase out of existence for occasionally. Though I think we have to acknowledge, while our main and favorites were, the Voyanui Titans.
Yes.
They were the forerunners of this. They're the ones who we always focus on. The next best were the non-Titan and Titan Makuta, Mutron, and Shirox, who were both...
The Makutas were fun.
Yeah,
But-
anyone really who was a Makuta was pretty fun.
Because
Even in Karax, because
we had these little hockey mugs that would fit into their chest
They're like
cavity
little
perfectly.
collectible mugs that you could get in like vending machines at places.
But they would replace the Tridax pod perfectly, and it'd just be like they'd be walking with a
it
drink.
could be in cup holder.
And of course, we had fun with them because, as Onvermel here said, they like the best with the Titans, and they had this amazingly destructive
Acidic.
drink.
Well, it's because they were actually scientists in canon. They were
That's
Mad
Cyborg.
scientists out of canon.
yes, extra mad, crazy. They
In fact, they might have been more sane out of canon. Just saying.
But yeah, they created this drink called BB Blast. I have no idea where the name
It
came
is
from.
explosive, acidic, and they love it.
Basically, if anyone was able to eat it, because they were Makuta, that their armor could handle it, I believe.
Actually, I think
We had a little level of lore accuracy in some of it,
I
but
think
the image of them with the cup in their chest is one of the greatest things to ever be
I
seen.
think I actually figured out something that could have passed as BB Blast in real life because it was like the double
Now-
Bs and the boom.
I would say where Titan category got extra fun is once you introduce the bar at the actual
bar.
bar aspect, because that brings in two of the best characters, or
So-
three characters.
one of the big things is I didn't have a lot of Titans back in the day. Zaxa here had a lot.
I had a decent
Onvermel
amount.
had a few more than
No,
me.
you were like you had Kreka and
Well, thing is,
Umbra to begin with.
but very
begin
shortly
with,
after, I got like Maxios Spinax, my Mutron Beacon, I got a
no,
Karax.
but like starting us off, it was
But I'm saying,
me,
like, yeah, very start.
Yes.
Me and Ek both had like
But-
two.
Ek had
But when
Axon, that
when
was
this
all he
next
needed.
character showed up, by the time he showed up, the one
When the
that
Titan category was big,
like
I
when it
only
was in
had
full
like
swing. I already had a Rocket
Axon,
T3.
Axon, Makuta, like Takua were like my only really Titans
So-
because Gadunga's born. So I had this big, tall Technic Vader, and he became the bartender.
The
Why?
best aspect of it all was Vader as the bartender.
But what led from the bartender, like with him being bartender, first off, it was just comedic gold in our opinion. Like we still think, which why actually the new construction ones means we all have our own bartender Vaders now for different.
And those new construction Vaders, they work even better
Because
because
they're
they're well, A, yeah, they're more posable, and B, they're a little more on the level with Bionicles, and B, they're just cool.
No, but that what made your Vader so weird. He towered over them. He was
Dark
intimidated,
Lord,
and he was the
their
bartender.
Hey,
I
never,
say you
never
don't
mess
mess
with
with the
bartenders
bartender.
Kind
ever.
of like Emperor Palpatine in the How It Should It if you kind of think about it.
A little
Actually,
bit.
oh my god, we pretty much just made villains pulp for Titans. Pretty much all we did.
Except it wasn't.
These
built,
are
it was-
characters who were acting like they were acting out of character and just chilling with each other, but still had like character traits.
No
and you
wonder
had
I like
the
villain-
Dark Sith as the bartender.
I knew there's a reason I like villain pub so much.
Yeah, it has the same energy as a Titan category.
Yeah, that's
But we were
very
doing
good
it first.
comparable.
But the other character who showed up around the bar, Zacta, tell us, who was this poor sap who ended up at the bar all the time?
Are you talking Liwa or Nupru?
Liwa. No, Nupur came
Nupur wasn't allowed.
Oh, that's different.
No,
He
that-
is connected to it.
We'll get it there. We're getting there. Liwa. So, I don't believe we had him. I feel like we assigned him his favorite food, which we gave him green Kool-Aid, which
For whatever
he
reason.
was wasted. Like, we didn't really know what drunk was back in the day, I don't think, but he was...
Yeah, I had
We
a vague
understood.
idea.
Vague
But it was
idea.
with a joke that he got drunk on green
He was
Kool-Aid.
basically drunk on green Kool-Aid, and he was perpetually asleep. Like, he was just
slumped over on the bar.
Slumped over the bar.
Wasn't he like you're the toy of him? Like was literally within the same slumped over position for like months on end. Just
Like,
slumped
we would
over.
just
Yeah.
leave Bionicles out in certain places,
We
and he
would.
would
Our
always
poor-
just be slumped.
Our poor parents
On
with
that bar.
our poor dad with the basement just being filled with our poor younger sister and our dad having to deal with the basement being full of Bionicles.
Especially up in the rafters.
That was the
Nakuda
best
lived
part.
up there in the rafters.
So yeah, Liwa was wasted on green Kool-Aid.
We made it a little more like
Logical.
logical later
over the
on.
year-
Yeah,
later
my brother, T.O.A brothers here have decided that maybe it was because it's not just green Kool-Aid, but vodka
Instead of
Kool-Aid.
water.
Yes, you make a good Kool-Aid. You don't use water. Use vodka.
That's
Something
how
I
it
will
is.
now that I've gone some of the unsweetened packets of Kool-Aid we had growing up. I do intend to mix green Kool-Aid with vodka one of these times.
Well, and the thing is,
Just for
this
this
also
reason.
that whole thing with him being drunk there. There was a theory going around that it might have been Nupru spiking it because Nupru kept wanting to get to Accelerator T9 because he was jealous of this really awesome vehicle. So people think it might have been Nupru who was spiking his drink or paying Vader to spike it.
I think
Nupru
that
being the
actually
guy in the
is what
little
happened.
box sword, not the T.O.A.
Also, Nupru managed to be in the small category, which was inside the table of the tiny
Yes,
category.
the small category. Most other categories...
Sorry, the short category.
The other categories pretty much disappeared, except the short category, which was only a really still
I'm
thing.
pretty sure it's only because of Nupru.
Because, no, it only remained a thing because their category's entrance was literally in the,
The
bar of
They were
the
so
Titan
short. Yeah, no, but then there also was a third character from the bar who actually became a fan favorite amongst us three. Now, this is one of the other cases where it wasn't Barnacle, but a certain Galador. Because there's one point where we realized other stuff that was over 9.5 inches were allowed, but there was stipulations. You had to work there. So what did Gorm have to do?
Well, first off, the other character was Gorm.
Yes, no one
He
liked Gorm.
was-
Everyone hated Gorm.
Not quite he was the
bus boy.
bus boy. That's the
And you had to
waiter.
made him a paper apron that he had it for quite a while too.
Yeah, he had the apron and everything. And I don't
He
think he's
did the
ever
dishes.
got out of that.
Well, the thing is, a lot of the characters had roles like Nadiki. He ordered all the food.
Nidiki was in charge of stock.
See, okay, this is another thing that I think when it first started.
What was Nidiki's favorite food?
Salt and vinegar chips.
See, I don't know how we
Wasn't
came
it
to that
dill
because
pickle?
I didn't eat chips. How did this get to be his food?
I don't know, maybe it was because they were in green
I
bags.
think at that point he was kind of more the
Delegating.
we're just delegating some food.
To be fair, yeah, he was.
I mean, look, Kreka had a sour cream and onion, but it's Kreka, so he deserves that.
I guess I did have him before we did start
But
this.
the thing is, that was another thing. When the Titan category first existed, they were very much toys in a basement, and they just stole food from our cold room, our pantries.
I think that was the sneakies.
No. They took over that, but they were still that kind of idea that they just stole it from a house.
Yeah.
However, they kind of morphed into it was actually a club, and they were like buying it
Yeah.
from the Zeddies.
Yeah, they bought
They
it
were
from the
buying
teddy
teddy
bears instead of
bears.
stealing it from us.
How old were we again? We were doing this.
We
Our
tried to
mid-teen-
utilize our stuff.
Middle teens, basically.
Our weird phases
We
we
were
call it.
a little slow at maturing, perhaps.
Yeah. So it's like pretty much it was just like a lot of this was just setting up characters in a bar-like scene, and then just mucking about and eating snacks during it. Really, let's be honest, there wasn't a whole lot of playing per se. Because whenever we tried to make like an actual story out of it, it got lame. Like I said, the exercise routine. Now, good running joke was, as mentioned, well, there was the unique category. The people just under 9.5 inches and above, I
The
think 8.5.
tallest of them.
Was
And
like
he
Nupru, who was really, really close to 9.5
He
inches.
actually isn't any like I think I measured him at one point. He's like, oh, he's not actually as close as we thought he was. At
His
first.
spikes did put him a significant number.
I think he was
over
like
the other.
just over 9 actually.
Yeah, but I always felt like he was really close. And so the running joke was Nupru always tried getting into the Titan
Because
He
category.
would
was
steal
taller than-
pieces from Mari Nupru
to get his
put
feet
on
taller.
him.
But the thing is, Siderax, the bouncer at the door, the greeter.
Yeah,
No, he's not the
Siderax
bouncer.
is
He's the
not-
greeter. He's a greeter. He's not a bouncer. Who was the bouncer?
I think.
Wait,
Wasn't that we
wait,
actually
he just
ever
got fed to the Gadunkas. I'm pretty sure it was that.
Make it a Gadunka
Sideric
burger. out
was
of
the
this guy.
doorman.
Bring it to the Gadunkas.
He
That's what I
wasn't so much a bouncer, but he was the doorman. But
Are you on the list essentially?
yeah, basically he had this whether or not you were in or out. But
Pretty much those shenanigans with Nupru were kind of like one of the best running jokes we had going on, because that was always a thing. People would be like, to the point where I think the Titans didn't like any unique Tuz, period.
No, not at all.
not that.
I think it was like all the other Inikas didn't even like Nupru because he was always just
Well, in
whining and
fairness,
trying to
in
talk
all
about
honesty, the
Titan
Titan
category.
category had other classism, because the T.O.A were looked at as a lower Titans, because they only got there because they had big sets. They weren't actual Titans.
And let's
Yeah,
be fair.
like Takanuva and Lekon just hung out and talked to each other
See,
at a table.
that was great because
Poatu, I think, hang out with the T.O.A of Lives for some reason.
and
Pohatu, he
oh, wait, no,
just
because the
kept
T.O.A of Lives
sobbing.
liked Ritz Bits, and Poatu liked cheesy Ritz. But this is before Hinatu came around, so Poatu, he wasn't sobbing too much. However, if you got him started on the fact that he didn't look like Poatu, and he was like orange and tall and skinny, then you would.
So I know like the Titans weren't their characters in Titan category more often than not, but
Yeah.
did Takanuva and Makuta really get along in
I
Titan
don't think
category,
they
or did they
did.
actually dislike each other?
I don't think they liked
Because
each
I
other.
kind of feel like the
Or-
two fully got along.
Or it was his,
outside of-
or maybe his ex large one when he joined, he couldn't wrap his head around it. I do know.
There was at least one Bionicle who
was despised
wasn't
by all.
able to quite fit in with the Titan category, and that was Tuma. Tuma didn't understand the Titan category, if I recall.
I think he was in the real world at the Titan character, and he had just a great hunching, stooping. He also get a job as a busboy right off
Yeah,
because he always had the look
Yeah,
on his
Tuba
He
didn't
also
like
he
the
was the other
Titan
part.
character.
Well, the thing is,
He was
they were
late
the
to
bus
the
boys.
party.
Him and Gorn were the bus boys, and the two your guys' 12 lives were the waiters, I believe, because they were the waiters, and because Umbra was actually in charge of running stuff, I think, like in the bar. And so if you're yellow, like the Kitongus and the 12 lives, you were like working around serving each other, if I'm correct. And
Because
that's why.
like Kitongu and 12 Life were kind of
Boring
to
and
play
yellow.
with. So we had to
And-
just kind of.
And because
set them
Umbra came in a
tasks.
little bit later, I wanted my character to have a little bit of explains because your guys, let's be honest, it was you two who started, and I kind
Very
of joined
much
in.
so.
So I wanted Umbra to have play. So he may not run things, but he was in charge of security in there. So I think the Kitongas,
yeah,
actually no, the
the
Kitongas were the bouncers.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't
Because
Basically
you had
were.
Sidorak and the Kitongas as the as the bouncers, and the two 12 lights as the waiters. Which is, why do you need waiters when everyone has the exact same order every time?
And it was
Someone to just bring out the food.
And just to add to
That's
the
true.
atmosphere of a club, I had gone like at the literally Dollarama, like a $2, $1 little tiny cardboard
Cool.
plastic pool table.
It was a great.
I
Bionicle
think, there was also
scale,
one time
cool
I know
thing.
where I got, because I had I was the one who had a Star Wars CD because I had a burnt one from the Lost T.O.A, and I had the Cantina music. So there's at least one time I know we played that on repeat. After that day, though, I lost that CD for a while in the storage room. But the thing is, it's very much died off around 2009. Like, it related a little bit. By the time I got Matanui, though, it was very much that. And I tried making more, like, I tried giving Matanui a journal, and there was, like, I think we tried
It was
reviving
a
the book
short-
club.
It was a short.
But the book club was just the Makutas, I think, at the end.
Yes, for some reason the Makutas like the stories.
Well, the thing is, Makuta was also one of the few people who wasn't picky with his food. Because
Just
he liked pizza, but however,
The Makutas got tired of our family having pepperoni pizza all the time.
pepperoni and cheese. So they would have, they would
hated
actually have,
pineapple. I
and they
don't
actually
think we ever
made,
discussed it.
they had a lot of variety in their stuff. Honestly, but though, I just think it's just so much stupid stuff. It was just really.
Then there was the whole Hydraxin with the coffee.
Oh yeah, Hydraxin.
Well, Hydraxin and Rudaka.
He had fingers that perfectly held the mug in both hands. So he would just sit there, never saying a word. And Rudaka, because they were the same color scheme, just swooned over him, and he was
Well,
completely
Rudaka
impressed.
kept hitting on him.
Rudaka
No,
was,
she swooned
look,
over
Rudaka
him.
was thirsty as heck in the 10 category. Because I think at the very beginning, they were kind of into Brutaka.
Because they were the two tallest titans.
Yeah, they're the only people who basically reached a foot. And then, basically, once Hydraxin came in, well, black and silver, silent, manly type. But the thing is, Hydraxin has the interesting points because he was originally soda crackers as his food. However, because he was around coffee so much, he literally just converted to coffee.
No,
I
he
think,
still
in the
likes
end.
crackers. Like, he'll just take
I feel like the jury's a
small-
little out that coffee might be his superior
See,
thing
we've
now.
also been like, do drinks count as
The
if
thing
they're
is, I don't think he
opinion?
ever drank the coffee much.
He just
He
looked
just sat there
at
like,
it,
like
hold it in
sipping.
his hand.
I just think he held it. I don't even feel
it was nice and warm.
He just liked holding the mug.
I mean, and then the one thing that I think we always had a hard time, I think, that was a little weird trying to fit in were Rahi, because we had some Rahi, especially your Nui Rama, and
They just buzzed.
they liked punch though, but they would buzz around like the 1 footers.
No, they buzzed around Matanui.
Oh, right, because he was over a foot, and they just buzzed around him.
But they were crazy about punch. Like, I think they like would literally
Think
just,
like wasps at a picnic.
yeah, you
But
just
like
put punch out and they buzzed.
but as big as you, and there's several of them.
And then of course you have to bring it up because it was everyone's hated man, Karzani.
Karzani.
The
Because he was
big,
kind of
fat,
just one of the
ugly
ugliest
Back in the day,
Titans.
yeah, he felt fat, ugly.
Like fatter than Vezon,
I-
big white ass.
I've come to appreciate his build, though I still wish they would have made a more like not mutated version, but still like he was a very unique build for the time, and our dislike for it really translated into everyone else's dislike.
Well, we just like something. He got stuck with guacamole Doritos, which is something that, or guacamole tortilla chips that we didn't like. We didn't like those chips, and like none of us liked it. So he got food. I
We
mean,
there
had
were
him as a
experiments-
family like once, and like they lasted forever.
the bag just kind of sat. in
And
the
then, of course,
pantry.
Mutra and Vika did an experiment to try to see if they could get him on bacon, just to see
and
if they
I think
could.
it worked.
I mean, it was guacamole chips. You'd be happy to switch over to bacon.
And that was another reason why he was so fat. The joke was, Karzani's in the bathroom. You're not using that for 3 hours.
I don't remember that, but I do remember he was starving because there was never guacamole chips.
To be honest, he was like literally a person that like think Charlie Brown, but like more despised. There's
like,
no line.
He has the luck of Charlie Brown, but with the dislike of No, people like Charlie Brown, just they don't love
True.
him. It's like he had the luck of Charlie Brown, but everyone disliked
People
him.
took pity on Charlie Brown.
No one took pity.
No one took pity on Karzani.
He was quite
I
literally the
made
punching
a whole
bag.
comic saying Karzani has no pity.
So it's like very much every character had like their position, their role, their hierarchy. Because yes, there was very much a hierarchy.
Axon
Boy
for
Nui
talking
2006.
Yeah, 2006. Boy Nui people
Pretty
at
much
the top.
2007
Not
was kind of
Ernak.
next.
Ernak doesn't count. He didn't care.
Makutas were second in the hierarchy. If you were a Makuta, you're like second tier.
And then
cool.
Metronome.
Yeah, they were like the really cool like mob bosses that chilled out at the bar. Because I'm pretty sure the Makutas still did like their.
Makuta was also like the first Titan that we all three of us had.
It was the first that we all had.
Even if we didn't all have it by the time this wrapped up.
We had all three near the end of it.
I had mine, but he didn't have his mask yet because I still had him only with the infected.
Yeah, it was
How?
later
It was
on,
the
yes.
tail end when we all three, but we did have all three for a bit. Didn't last long. Even like, yeah, that was the only one we really ever had all three, I think, like during the realm of the Titan category. Because by the time next time we all had the same Titan, like Titan category was gone.
I mean, it had a few games, but it mostly was like quick fiddles and just long discussions.
most of it was just, it's like playing Army Man. You set it up and then you don't do much afterwards. And it was more just basically us sitting like this. We're just sitting and talking about it. That's pretty much all it was.
Yep. Like
Maybe
we
the
basically just played another game.
And
right
how
now.
can I make this Bonko character hold a mug without falling down standing on a rug? I know I tried that several times with Umber, like trying to get him to hold, like, he could kind of hold a mug. But him having wheels on his seat kind of made it difficult.
And not really having proper hands either.
Yeah.
He had robot feet on this end of his
He
spawn.
had kind of weird ones. Don't get us wrong, the Titan category did kind of survive even
It's
to
a
this
very
day.
unique and strange thing.
Well,
we
not
did.
as unique as I thought now that I think about the YouTubes.
We did it first.
Yeah, you darn YouTubes. Quit stealing our
But
ideas.
it's like, the Titan category was always one of those things that was just really, really, really fun to do. I mean, definitely I would say there were some times that we tried too hard, I think, to get something going. And there was definitely, I think after my first BrickCon, I had gone a lot of times. My first brain was like, imagine playing Titan category now. But I'm like, there's only two of us here, not all three of us. It's not right. I mean, there's been like some other like revelations about it. Like now that we all collectively we own all the Titans, so we know what everyone's food is now.
and we pretty much all have all the Titans, or 90% of them.
I mean, if I had the space, I would set up an area just for my Titans to chill out, doing nothing, with little mugs in their hands.
With the days of little mugs.
Maybe some empty chip bags that I forget
I
to
just
throw
trying to
out.
remember how long Mutron and Shirox had those cups in their chest, because they had them in there.
Mine
for a
still
long
might have that mug in his
time.
chest.
Oh yeah, speaking of Makuta, the only one who wasn't cool was Akarx, because with his wings he was technically taller than
No
Urtaka.
wing-like projections.
But your
That was a
extended
rule.
masks.
Yeah,
count.
wing-like projections were not counted for height, because that means Mari Halley would have been allowed in, and no one wanted that.
But if you had a spike on your mask, that was allowed. Because 9.5 inches, the reason we went 9.5, it was just enough to get Axon in through height.
Yeah, Axel's not a very tall Titan, so
But
getting him in
then
there
we,
bumped
then
into
we
any
just-
like
You're
expensive
actually a
set.
Titan.
yeah, when we realized we wanted all the basically Titan category. So, but if you have 9.5 inches, it was an exception for non-sets like Strack and Thok. Though Thok, I
And
think
Tricka.
I think we later debunked Thok's spine as being
Yeah, because it got
9.5.
bent out of position. Like when it's perfectly straight, he can fit
no,
in.
but I think also just being his spine, that kind of counted as a wing-like projection. I think we took.
But it's also
him.
part of his head, so like it's massive.
The thing with Thok though was
yeah, he sat down.
he was
never left.
lazy and he never left. So even when we debunked him, they just couldn't get rid of him.
Basically, their plan was, well, once he leaves, we just want him back in. But him and Strachan just have never left.
No, Strack was still 9.5
Because
though.
I'm pretty sure they still want to let Strachan if he left. They'd be like, no, you guys can go out. You're useless.
No, it's kind of funny. Like with Thok, we amplified a small bit of his characters that he's a bit on the lazy side, so we amped that up. But with Thok, with him, it was, do I get paid? And then the book comes out with him, and do I get paid?
Yeah, Strax's character
We called it before
some
it
of
even
Strax's
came.
character fit, like was called. But the funny thing about Thok is, when you picture him in the Titan category, you just picture him sitting on a couch. In the Paraka rap, like the Yo-Yo Paraka rap video, He's sitting on a couch.
which is why he was on the couch.
Okay, that is why. I wasn't sure if that was just a coincidence or not.
I mean, we would have saw that before Titan category.
oh,
We
definitely.
would have
But
saw those promo
So
videos
that was
for sure.
that was his influence, but Strack was totally what a coincidence. We just came up with this personality, and it's kind of his personality to begin with.
yeah, and the thing is, Titan category did last over a little bit into the mock era, just because you had like the first mock that was like over 9.5 inches, and
Yep.
you wanted them in there. So the deal that the Titan category made, I believe, was he had to work for it. So I believe he helped Nadicki with the phone orders. I think.
That sounds right. He did.
Yeah,
seem like
at that
Nadicki's
point there was a
head.
lot of phone orders, so Nadicki just wanted a break to actually chill.
Yeah, you know,
there was so many
enough.
Titans. He was always on the phone. We made him a little phone because he was always on
He
the
did
phone.
make him a little phone.
So yeah, and while we just grew out of it, the real reason it ended was just because
We grew out of it.
no.
Well, more
just-
likely, Ekir moved out, and we
I'm thinking
or made-ups actually.
too many people got in the club. The Titans just Axel and Brutaga just wanted to be by themselves. It's like
Well, the thing is, like, when it came down to like us and like our Bionicle toys, and like we pretty much were playing as regular games up to a little bit before Titan category, where when we first got the Paraka, we had seen YouTube videos where we have no idea where to find these anymore.
They are long.
They are
lost.
long gone, but it's basically just like still motion videos of the Paraka and some other Bionicles like mucking about a house looking for the Mask of Time. But they were
Kind
very
of similar in concept to reviving Bionicle.
But yeah, they were very clearly toys, and
And-
that was the key thing.
Avak hummed or
No, Avik sung, and then Takadok's
he
whistled.
didn't so much sing as he like
Bah,
that's
bah,
not I call that.
Right, and Takadok's whistled, I believe.
And if anyone knows or can find these videos, please send them to us.
The other thing
I want to
is,
see it again so
The
bad.
Takadok's whistling kind of still exists because there is a entertainment at the club,
It was the Cadox.
and Takadok's featuring
Takadox.
and introducing
Takadox.
Takadok's. Basically, it's a band of like 4 or 5 Takadoks.
I mean, I didn't have all my Takadox then, but the Lost Toad acquired 2 big boxes of Bonkles with multiple Takadox in there.
I think.
I acquired them all, and I've created the Takadox band.
There's like what, 4 of them?
I think the band consists up to 5.
Well, I'm pretty sure even for a brief moment, Avak and Takadox were allowed in as entertainment
Yes.
because of those videos.
Yes.
They were
but-
the only Bongos who had any sort of musical prowess, despite Matoro apparently having a pretty decent singing voice as Matoran standards go.
But
That's
he's
lore
in the
for
short
you.
category, so.
Just you hear like you at the bar then. He's like, what do I?
When there's a
Leave
quiet
Lua.
moment to
Why
the
do-
bar, you can hear
What?
singing from the table.
People just think it's Lua. But
Actually, the real reason it ended is because it couldn't
so
pay the tabs.
after the actual playing toys as toys kind of turned into like a 2 games about them being toys, and then that morphed in, and then that kind of led to Tan category. However, playing and Tan category basically led into kind of got died off when made-ups became a thing,
Yeah, when we started actually building mocks.
larger Bionicles of our
which is just
own,
why there's like
larger
very
toys.
very little crossover between the two, because at that point we weren't really playing. Well, yeah.
Let's just say the Titans are very biased to
We weren't
our
using
own
our
creations.
sets as much.
Yeah, sets were very much put in the closet, and it's time to build your own. They're still in the closet. My Bonker closet.
Yeah, they're out in my closet. The Titans specifically, they're mostly out on display.
Some
I
people go
have
into some people come out of the
some out of
closet.
display.
The Titans have gone into the closet.
Now, actually, speaking of Titans on closet, because it was making me think of ones I have displayed, such as some combo models, and one thing about mixing foods is, so for context, Udaka liked Diet Coke, very specifically Diet Coke.
I think we changed it to Coke Zero,
Yeah,
actually.
well, it's a black can, so I think it
But
did.
she likes Coke.
But it was Diet Coke originally. It was very specific. This is Diet
Yeah, I
Coke.
didn't want to put on any.
Didn't want to put in calories. Sidorak liked ketchup chips, and Kitongu liked regular chips. So, when you make a combo model, such as the shadowed one out of Kitongu and Rudaka, what does he like? Well, he liked fries and Coke. So,
Oh,
basically, but no ketchup on the side. Now, I made Voprak, who's made up all 3 of these, so he likes a Happy Meal.
He likes
He likes McDonald's food. The reason why he likes McDonald's food is there's the joke that McDonald's food never goes bad, right?
It never
We know-
changes no
we
matter
know
how
that
long
joke,
you leave
right?
it out in the car.
And as an in-universe character, Voprak, if he touches stuff, it instantly ages. And the joke is that's the only food he can hold that won't disintegrate and age.
I think
you know?
Same with the
Baffles
toys.
Same with the toys because they're plastic. So the joke is he can collect toys. So, but he likes particularly fries with a Pepsi. I think he liked Pepsi. And he liked ketchup with his fries.
Of course,
because
his
he has
Pepsi's always
Sidorak.
flat.
However, he particularly likes the toys mostly, but because he was a combo model, he's made. Now, not all combo models work like this because I have Botar. He likes donuts. Why? Because.
He's a cop.
No, I think it was just because I like
I thought it
donuts.
was because he was a cop.
That might have, maybe.
A bit of both.
You know, that's so long ago I couldn't even say. But I was just like, he likes donuts.
So this was a big mouth that he could actually chomp them down
That's
if he
true.
wanted.
He could.
You know, I guess we should just mention, because we've mentioned all the key ones, but Vezon was crazy for pretzels. Very specifically, the stick pretzels.
Yup. Vezon, I feel like was always on the verge of either being like the butt of jokes in the Titan category, or he was actually going to be like an important part. He kind of like he was never quite integrated.
Think of him as Hank Yarbo.
He's your annoying friend.
Yeah, he's the annoying friend. Think of him as Hank Yarbo when the butt of the jokes is Oscar Leroy. He's still dumb, but we're focusing on this other guy.
Now, the funny thing is, I still like. I tried when I got mad at Nui because I wanted to make mad because he was the tallest, biggest Titan in there, so I wanted to.
Butaka's annoyance.
And he had the mask on. Like I wanted him to have like something. Plus, everyone hated him, so I started really writing a journal for him. I think I had about 6 or 10 entries where he was like each day he would be like writing something Titan categories. Like yeah, everyone, and I still have those written down somewhere. And that was I would say an epitome of trying too hard to make the category still interesting. Because yeah, at that point, it was kind of fading away. But like I said, now we have every Titan. The last one to be coming with it was Perditus, which I don't remember what food we gave him.
He was assigned some food, I think, before we got him, and then like maybe habit
Forgot.
flies.
I think he's been assigned like 3 foods.
And then he got a new one when we actually got him, or when purple.
You know,
Yeah, he might like Dr. Pepper.
I got the
maybe.
Bayrak
That's
a
what
lot
it was.
longer ago than I realized, because the Bayrak were actually there for the tail end of that.
They were there for a decent amount.
They
'cause-
like Freezies. No,
Well,
Yeah,
I know
Freezy-
Ed,
Freezies and gummy bears.
Yeah, because-
or gummy worms.
Yeah, because mine like pop. No, yours like
your red one liked gummy worms, because my red one,
No.
known as Ed, liked.
no, yours
Yeah,
like
mine liked gummy worms, and yours like gummy bears.
But yours,
the other
similar.
one
however,
like
yours
Freezy.
because yours look derpy. Mine is something that's eating real worms. While yours like freezies, and then my blue one like popsicles.
And they love to give to Strack white Freezies just to see him gag and the instant he pop in his mouth.
You realize it's not water.
No, sorry. He didn't like water. He liked ice. Ice
Yes.
cubes. And white Freezies looked like ice cubes. So there was a lot of fun with that repeated
That was,
joke.
see, with the Bear Magna Titans, there was a couple of them like Strack like ice cubes. Oh, also, hot. He liked ice, and then Tuma liked ice cream because they're used to deserts. So lore did sometimes play a little bit.
into a little bit.
At least later ones, I
when
think.
we ran out
also.
of good snacks, we actually
Yeah, that was the kind of thing. We were running out of good
We're
snacks.
running out of chips that we actually eat and buy.
And
Yeah,
I was
the
gonna-
flavors of pops and flavors of chips were the go-to.
like I'm just thinking like what was we had goldfish, like who had the goldfish? Oh right, Spinax.
Spinax like goldfish.
So one of the oddest ones we did was give me a second, Fenrak. He literally just had Fenrak feed.
we don't know what it is, and I don't think we want to know.
It was just food they fed
I
Fenrak.
just pictured being like, okay. What I always picture was compost food, like leftover, like your compost that you put out.
Swill.
Yeah, basically what you think
Chunky or swill.
I mean, you had some that are more.
Gadunka liked burgers, and you could eat them in one big gulp.
And you could hold them in one big claw.
Yeah, I always pictured Gadunkas really like in
But
Whoppers.
Gadunka also was this person who probably would eat anything in front of him too. But it just really.
I
liked
have to
burgers.
say though that looking at it now that we've had gone almost all the sets, after going new, I would honestly say Gadunka, just for pure fiddling and funness, might actually be one of the best Titans ever created.
It's certainly one of the more unique ones.
And
He
fun
got the
to-
limelight.
He's got fingers, a big mouth, and if he's like your only villain, like I don't know if anyone can make Gadunka not a threatening threat. It's like that thing is terrifying.
that
He can
thing
swallow
can
you
eat your
whole.
toe.
Well, there's a reason the
And still
Gadunka
have
pit.
room for
There's a reason why the
Tohanka.
Gadunka pit, as a threat of throwing you into it, was so prevalent.
We have the Gadunkas, and you can pretend that there's a pit.
I was always sad that I didn't have a Gadunka to join in this lovely pit. It was very worrisome. I have a Gadunka now, but it came way too late.
I got a second Gadunka. I kind of wish I kept it built just to have 2 Gadunkas, but you only need 1 because 1 is terrifying enough. The only thing
Like,
worse than
it's
one
like having
Gadunka is
2
two.
Rancors. Eventually, they're just going to turn on each other.
If you don't feed it frequently, 1 will just eat the other.
Yeah, so, it's very much, I look back at it as, it's not the, we've had weirder parts of our, like, childhood playing games where characters became really stupid and some were less nonsensical. This became so much more of a,
Running.
we kind of
gag.
didn't really care. Yeah, it was basically just a running gag that just really, because we ran with the Titan category for, like, several years, like, pretty much 2006 to 2009. So
Basically till the end of the Bionicles run, really.
even
Yeah.
even 2010, yeah, like it's solid 4 years of like.
Bionicle Gen 2
No,
never
it got
really
to
came-
Hero Factory because I
Oh,
think
right,
the
yeah.
Fire Lord and
Yeah, the Fire Lord and Von Nebula.
maybe not.
Well, when Fire Lord and Von Nebula
Yeah.
joined in, that's when Blaster joined. The
Blaster was
robot.
quite a character.
Yeah. Real debate though, because the Price of His said does question it. Was he a Titan back in the day?
But he was a Titan compared to his theme, so they allowed him in. Millennia, I don't think they did let him though.
I think there was too much debate, but yes, it lasted till the earlier ages of Hero Fact. Because I think by the time Black Phantom came out, I don't think the Black Phantom ever got the chance to be there, just because
Might have been there once at best.
by then
But-
it had officially pittered out.
But no, the Blaster was fun because he had one of the most unique foods of beer.
He actually liked
None of us had beer before at that
At
point.
that point, no, none of us had ever.
Mind you, none of us ever drank
Unless
beer.
you were 18 and just had your first beer, but even then,
I might.
I
even
think
then,
we
I
just
didn't
felt
like
like he deserved beer because he was
a robot.
Robot.
And the thing with Blaster, he had one line.
oh, if you ask him
One
anything,
personality trait.
if you ask him anything, what will he say?
Classified.
And that was it. Like pretty much always said.
His only
I don't think he
line.
said anything else.
Yeah, the beer drinking classified
Fight
robot.
robot. That will be the title of this video. I need to remember that. That's why I had to. I didn't
You're
remember.
drinking classified robot. Stick to the end. Figure out the title.
I've done that before though. So
I think we've pretty much exhausted the Titan category.
I'm sure there's
Like,
more we can find.
Just like the Titan category, if we keep going on, we're just going to keep rehashing the same thing.
Yup.
It wasn't really creative. It just kept repeating itself.
Yeah.
The same running jokes.
The needless thing is, it was extremely fun, and I just realized something. We played them like girls play with Barbie dolls. They're just our dolls.
I remember
At
having
that point, they were
No,
they
are action
at that point, our action figures
You know,
became dolls.
It's a good thing we didn't have.
Just saying.
It's a good thing we don't have the dolls now and still do this, because let's be honest, it would just be the entertainment or hookers. Let's be honest. Now that we know about these things, if we had
Now that
Barbie
we're
dolls,
adults.
that's what they would be.
Barbie's dolls in the tiny
Because think
category.
of it, you have Barbie dolls and a group full of guys. They're either there for the entertainment of the guys, or the entertainment of the guys. Either that or they're the servers. I could see Darth Vader hiring.
It's a good thing there's no such thing as love in Bionicle.
It's a good thing
No,
we
it's
never
not.
had Barbie.
Despite Lujaku being thirsty.
But then again,
AF.
this Titan category is not canon either.
No, it definitely is. Don't you know? This is from when everyone's high.
Its lore maintains, but it is not canon.
But yeah, this has been a fun trip down memory lane, and honestly, it's been obviously a while since we've actually, even outside the pocket, it's been a long time since we've just had a nice chat about the Titan
Reminiscing.
category. Like I've had it individually with
Good
Tag. I think I've
times.
had it individually with
Yeah.
Zach Tao.
We've certainly
But on a
continued to
group.
reminisce.
Especially just having some of them, because yes, Zach Eck had brought some of his copies out, so we have the
The
2006
original
Titans.
Axon.
The
and
not original Brutaka.
The definitely not original Umbra. But no, this has been fun, gentlemen, especially on this lovely Christmas day. Because yes, it is Christmas, which I think is appropriate. Because Christmas is the time we got most our Titans.
Especially me.
Especially
like
me.
50% of my original
And
Titans.
on behalf of all the Titans, I'd just like to say, don't touch our food.
Don't touch food. And you know what? Belated Merry Christmas to when this is coming out. Happy New Year. This has been the T.O.A Podcast. I have been your host, Onvermel, and we are retiring from the year.